Okay, good morning students. In this session we will study about the pollination, that is the different types of pollination. Now what is pollination? That we have seen, the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma is known as the pollination. It is basically of two types, that is self-pollination and cross-pollination. In the self-pollination, what occurs? That is, it occurs with the same flower or it occurs in the different flower of the same plant. Whereas cross-pollination, two flowers of the different plants of the same species, that is known as the cross-pollination. Now this self-pollination, it is again divided into two categories, autogamy and the geitonogamy. Autogamy refers to pollination within the same flower and geitonogamy refers to different flowers of the same plant where the pollination occurs. That process is known as the geitonogamy. And cross-pollination, the word it is given, that is the xenogamy. Here within the autogamy again two types are there, that is chasmogamy and clastogamy. Now what is this chasmogamy? Here the flowers they open, that is the synchronization is there in the pollen release and stigma, and they have the particular close arrangement. So here the transfer of pollen grains becomes easy. Whereas clistogamy, flowers they are not opening at all. Now there are some type of exceptions are there. There are certain kinds of particular flowers which have particular two types of this mechanism. That is viola, which is known as common pansy, oxalis and commelina. They produce two types of flowers such as this chasmogamous and the clastogamous. Okay, now next, these are the pollen pistil interaction topic we have seen. Now all events that is leading from deposition of the pollen grains on stigma to the entry of pollen tube in the ovule is known as the pollen pistil interaction. Now the particular stigma surface is having the particular compatibility property, that which particular pollen it is compatible and which is not. A dynamic process involving pollen recognition followed by promotion or inhibition of the pollen is having the capacity by the particular stigma surface. Now reason behind this is there is a chemical interaction or there is a chemical conversation between the pollen and the stigma surface. So whatever the compatible pollen are there, they are accepted by stigma and which initiates the post pollination events. Now whenever this germination occurs, formation of pollen tube. Germination means germination of pollen grain occurs once the pollen gets deposited on the stigma surface. It gets germinated and it leads to the formation of pollen tube through the spore germ pore. The content of the particular of this pollen move to the pollen tube through stigma style and they reaches to the ovary. The pollen grains they are in two cell condition, that is they have vegetative and the generative cell. The generative cell divides and the form two male gametes during the growth of pollen tube in the stigma. Free cell condition is when pollen tube carry the two male gametes from the beginning also. This condition occurs in the rest of the angiospermic plants. 60% they are shedding the pollen grains in the two cell condition. Pollen tube after reaching the ovary enters the ovule through the micropyle and enters one of the synergids through the filiform apparatus. Interaction is important in the plant breeding for superior plant development. So this was about pollen pistil interaction. Now next topic was that we have studied in chapter 2, that is artificial hybridization. It is very much important in the crop improvement program. Crossing experiments with desired pollen grains are used for pollination and stigma is protected from contamination. Means by this particular technology we can get the desired plants with desired characteristics by using the desired pollen grains. Now in the artificial hybridization, two of the techniques are being used. One is known as emasculation. What happened here, whenever the female parent bears bisexual flowers, bisexual means it is having both the particular flowers, then what happens, removal of anthers from the flower bud before the anther dehisces using a pair of forceps occur. So this is known as emasculation, that is removal of anther part with the help of the forceps whenever it is in the flower bud condition. And next technique is the bagging. Whenever the emasculated flowers have to be covered with a bag of suitable size, generally made up of butter paper, to prevent contamination of its stigma with unwanted pollen. So this is known as bagging. Means once the anther part is removed, the particular uh, female part is covered with the help of a butter paper, that is known as the bagging, so that the unwanted pollen is not arriving on the stigma surface. So with this two technique we can get the particular desired pollination and the desired plants, and this will be helpful in creating the plants having the better characteristics. Now double fertilization, that is also known as triple fusion and syngamy, both it is included in the double fertilization, means two type two times the fertilization it is occurring. Now whenever pollen tube releases the two male gametes into the cytoplasm of the synergic, this two male gametes, one, it fuses with the egg and results into the diploid zygote formation. That process is known as syngamy. That is, zygote further develops into the embryo. And other male gamete moves towards a two pollen nuclei that is located in the central cell and produces a triploid pen, that is primary endosperm nucleus, and this develops into further endosperm. So as two times the fertilization is occurring, it is known as double fertilization, which results into the diploid zygote formation and the formation of the endosperm. Here the life cycle, you can see that how the particular, this is the particular pollen, it is transferred, then after fertilization flowers, the withers, seed develops into the ovary particular. This is how the whole process is there. Here the pollination is sown, then after the pollination gametes entered, and here the maturation is occurring, and finally after the maturation only the particular seeds develop into the ovary, other parts get shrivel off. Here with the help of diagram it is shown the double fertilization. It is one male gamete fuses with two polar nuclei. Here you can see the arrow, this black arrow, it is pointing towards. This blue part is the male gamete which fuses to with the two polar nuclei and forms the diploid endosperm nucleus, and other male gamete fuses with the egg that forms the zygote. So here with the particular double fertilization process and the types of pollination and pollen pistil interaction.